All right, present, future Rotary leaders, and fellow Rotarians and guests. I would like to welcome all of you to our feature meeting on Zoom. And thank you so much for being with us tonight. I'm Rotarian Gina and will be your virtual meeting coordinator for today. Let's go over the house rules. Have a name to your Zoom profile so we can address you. Turn on your video so we can see you. All participants will be on mute. Use the Zoom chat function to participate and to send your questions. Think about your actions on camera. If you are connected to more than one device, make sure you mute all the other devices except one. Last but not least, please have fun with us. I would like to invite Rotary Action Group on Menstrual Health and Hygiene Regional Director Asia, President-elect Hema, from the Rotary Club of Lake Gardens to tell us what's next.
A very good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Dina, and thank you very much for the opportunity given today to share on the Rotary Action Group. Well, my name is Hema. I am the President-elect for Rotary Club of Lake Gardens, Kuala Lumpur. I am also the Regional Director for Asia for the Rotary Action Group Menstrual Health and Hygiene. Along with me today, I also have my fellow directors from the various Rotary clubs around the world from the Action Group. Well, basically, this Action Group was formed last year in April with a group of passionate ladies from all around the world who were very much interested on the menstrual health and hygiene matters. I have to say a special mention to our chairman, Rotarian Sharmila from London. She's actually here with us today in this forum as well. So she was I think, the main pillar behind this group. So she mooted this idea. So what actually started on a WhatsApp group blossomed into an action group with all the amazing efforts from Rotarians from all around the world gathering together to promote the cause on menstrual health and hygiene. Now, basically today I'm going to actually speak on a few matters. Now, the first thing is that I would like to actually encourage all present here today, Rotarians and non-Rotarians, to actually join us to be part of our Rotary Action Group. And to do so, you can actually check out our website, which is www.ragmhh.org. Don't worry, I will actually type it out in the chat forum later as well. You could also use the Google search and search for Rotary Action Group on Menstrual Health and Hygiene. Now, basically, we are a group of Rotarians from all around the world. We are actually 60 prospective members from 18 countries, together advocating on menstrual health and hygiene matters. So we actually want to encourage more Rotarians and also non-Rotarians to be part of this action group. Now, basically, our mission is to enhance the dignity to women and girls and enable them to live a self-determined life, to have access to education, and also to promote economic self-maintenance. We want to bring out this taboo on menstrual health and hygiene matters to all around the world, right? So basically, we also have a Facebook group as well, and we constantly have talks. And you can also join that Facebook group, and you can also always get up-to-date information on what we do. You could also, leave your contact number in this chat forum if you are interested to be part of our cause. Now, myself from the Rotary Club of Lake Gardens, we are currently doing this project for 3 years, where we're giving out reusable sanitary napkins to underprivileged women and underprivileged women and teenagers from all around parts in Klang Valley. So today, I think even Anja has, she has worked with us, one of the speakers. We have worked with her before. And you're going to hear some interesting facts from all the speakers here on menstrual health and hygiene matters. So reach out to us if you are interested to know more. Please do check out our website, join us, and be part of our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President-elect Hema. Okay, today we have the privilege of having 3 speakers with us, being the Thorn Among the Roses Rotarian Shivanand, Liu Pik Swan, and Anja Julia Abu Bakar. First, let's hear from our first speaker, Rotarian Shivanand Belara, with his topic, Why Menstrual Cups? joined the cup evolution. But first, let's have a little introduction about him, right? So Rotarian Shivanand is a mechanical engineer with business administration as his second degree. Handsome Shiv, as he likes to be known as, was the president of the Rotary Club, Bengaluru, Platinum City in 2017-2018, where his club was awarded the Best Club Medium Size. He was the district Interact chairman in 2018-2019, where there was a huge revival of Interact movement in District 3190. He was an assistant governor Zone F for the Dazzlers and has taken over as membership director, internal extension of Sky Rockers. His classification is industrial into manufacture of silicone rubber products. He is happily married. I know that because he still has hair on his head and he's always smiling. He's married to Rotarian Nisha, who is presently Rotary Action Group on Menstrual Health and Hygiene chairperson for District 3190. If you have any questions, please type it in the chat box for the moderator. We'll be picking it up later during the Q&A session. Rotarian Shiv, the Zoom room is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dina. And for that, adding that handsome word to Shiv, who I'm usually known as, please send your bank account. There will be a gift transferred later this evening.
Thank you.
So good evening, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. I'm Shivanand Bellare. This is the first time I'm actually speaking about a product that I make and not about training for being a Rotarian or for various aspects regarding Rotary. Though I believe that this, the entire MHHM is in the right direction. It's a project that's the need of the hour. And that's why it gives me immense pleasure to give you an insight about menstrual cups and why every single woman needs to join the Cup-volution. So I'll start my presentation now, and yes. So, yes. So the topic I would like to talk to you about today is why menstrual cups, because yes, it is a new product. It's something new which we haven't really heard about. It's only in the last couple of years that we have been hearing about it, and there's a lot of myths, there's a lot of misinformation, there is a lot to talk about. It's a product or a project that we cannot successfully do without creating awareness. And that's what I'm precisely trying to do today, of creating awareness on why menstrual cups should be used and why, hopefully, by the end of the session, you will decide to join the Cup-volution. So let's start with some quiz. Instead of me going into some, deep gyan or knowledge, let's talk about a little quiz. So Shirley and Dina, if you don't mind, you could just monitor what the answers come into the chat box. People just need to reply. So the question is, when was the first ever menstrual cup invented? Was it A, 1987, B, 1963, C, 1937, or D, 2009? Quickly, you can put in your answers on the chat box and just let me know what is the most popular answer, Dina or Shirley, please. Oh, lots of responses. That's nice to see.
As of now, the most answer is D, 2009, but we do have a couple saying it's 1937.
Okay. So, I think another 1 or 2 answers have come in. So, but it's still 2009. Oh, wow, that's suddenly going up.
Okay, so Anja's saying she's a user since 2008. So whoever answered 2009, you're wrong.
Okay. Okay. So the answer is the Leona Chalmers invented the first menstrual cup in the year 1937. And it was not in silicone, it was made in latex at that time. But can you believe that we have had this product with us for nearly 80 years and we still think about it as something new and something which we are scared of? Okay, the next quiz question that I would like to ask you. Silicone rubber is made from A, natural rubber found in rubber trees, B, petrochemicals, C, silica or sand, D, synthetic resins and gums. What do you think the answers are? Quickly, A, B, C, or D?
Okay, a lot are saying, two say A, two say C. We have another
Okay.
answer for A, D, A. Mostly A.
Okay, so
Because
if
it's
you
the
have
longest
answered
answer.
A, you are right because it was what was used in 1937. But those who have written it as C, the answer is yes, C is the right answer. Silicon rubber is made from special silica or sand, just like glass is produced at high temperatures. Silicon rubber is also made from that particular special grade of silica or sand. Okay, now the last quiz question before we head to the presentation. Good quality silicone menstrual cups are A, safe from cytotoxicity, B, safe from skin and vaginal irritation, C, does not contain peroxides or curing chemicals, D, non-reactive and doesn't change the pH value of the system of the reproductive tract. So what do you think is the right answer there?
Currently, we have ABCD.
ABCD? Okay. Okay. So yes, the answer is actually all of above. This was a trick question. So silicone rubber menstrual cups satisfy all the 4 points of being safe from cytotoxicity, safe from skin and vaginal irritation, does not contain peroxides or curing chemicals, and is absolutely non-reactive and does not change any pH value of the reproductive organs. Now, let's get on to the actual presentation. So let's see who is manufacturing these cups. When I'm talking about these cups, I'm talking about Nariyari menstrual cups. Nariyari in Hindi means friend of a woman's friend. So that's what the Nariyari cup actually means. Well, it's manufactured in Brahad Elastomers Private Limited, a company with 25 years of experience in silicone rubber products. Its manufacturing unit is in the Garden City, or should I say the former Garden City of Bangalore, Karnataka. Now it's the Silicon City of India, and there are no gardens to be found anywhere. Yes, we are extremely happy and proud to be vocal for local because we produce our cups in India. We don't import it from China or any other place in the world. We make it in our factory in Bangalore, and we are very, very happy that it's made in India. Now, what's so special? So, you can ask, like you have said, why you've talked about you're very happy producing it in India, and why would you be, so happy about it? What's so special about these Nariyari menstrual cups? Well, first part is that the Nariyari cups are made in an ISO 9001 2015 facility. So what it means is that we produce it using SOPs for every single stage, right from the procurement of the raw material to the final inspection and packing is done with standard operating processes and procedures. And we can trace a batch even 2 to 3 years after it is produced. That's the kind of level of documentation that is maintained. Second part is Nariyari cups are made using platinum cured medical grade silicone rubber. So I would say platinum cured medical grade silicone rubber is like it's like the Maybach of silicone rubbers. So you have different grades of silicone rubber, but the platinum cured medical grade silicone rubbers can be implanted into a human being, like for a heart catheter, and it can remain in the body for 29 days minimum. So that's the kind of grade of silicone rubber that we are using for manufacturing our cups. Even the colors that we use are silicone master batches, which have FDA approval. So this is the kind of care we take in sourcing our raw materials and in our manufacturing process. Anything else apart from the manufacturing, anything else that's special about our cups? Well, our design of the cups is such that there is no rim and it has a tapered design, and it's very comfortable and it's very simple for first time users, and it's ideal for insertion and removal. And we have extremely promising feedback, and we keep our ears to the ground always. We have support groups on WhatsApp where Nisha and another one or two of her partners ensure that new users are handheld until they get comfortable using the cups, and we entertain calls at all given times trying to help someone settle in. So that's the kind of feedback and promise that we have in our product. Yes, very important. Nariyari cups have been tested and marked safe after intense and long duration tests from cytotoxicity, skin and vaginal irritation, as per the acquired ISO standards of ISO 10993, which is the standard for this kind of products. And we are very, very proud of that fact. And it's taken a lot of money and it's taken a lot of time to get these tests done. But we are one of the very few brands in the world that have actually done testing on the final product. The rest of them only, talk about how their systems are good, and that's how, I'm sorry, there's a little bit of barking in the background, but yeah, so we have that kind of systems in place for ensuring good quality products. So yes, our products are safe from cytotoxicity. And the best part is just 2 days back, we have received approval for CE marking for our cups. So now we can actually export these cups to Europe. That's what, the CE marking means. So we are very proud about that fact. What else? Well, quality is fine. Why else should someone shift to a menstrual cup? Well, because you can reuse a menstrual cup for a minimum of 5 years and up to 8 years, as long as you maintain safe and hygienic using conditions. You don't have very long nails and you store it safely. You can reuse menstrual cup for a minimum of 5 years and up to 8 years. What else? One cup saves 1,200 to up to 1,900 single-use sanitary pads from reaching the landfills or being burnt and creating carcinogenic fumes which can cause cancer. So that's the advantage of using a menstrual cup. One cup means menji makan banyak wang, or saves lots of money. So yes, please excuse my pronunciation, but yes, you know what it means. It saves a lot of money. Menstrual cups assures the most private cycle, menstrual cycle, because why? Because there is no buying sanitary pads every month, no disposal, and no rigorous washing and drying. All it needs is half a cup of water just to clean it, and then you reuse it. And at the end of the cycle, you just need to use bathing temperature water to just rinse and keep for 5 to 10 minutes, dry it, put it into the cotton pouch and keep it till your next menstrual cycle. So no one has to know. And the best part is, no one, when they see a menstrual cup, they don't even know what it is. So half of them think that it's meant for serving liquor, for measuring liquor. That's the shape of how it looks. So that's the best part. It's such a private, sanitary product that whether you're in the city or whether you're in a village where there may be taboo or shame for the duration of the menstrual cycle, this is something that assures you complete privacy. And all this means peace. And everyone, including men, know how important it is for a woman to be at peace. So that's what this product is. It's all about peace. So why do we stand apart? Why does Nariyari cup stand apart? Well, we don't believe in high profits because we want menstrual cups to reach every woman. It should break all the barriers of geography, education, or financial spending ability. So we want cups to be available to anybody, any part of the world who is willing and who wants to stop throwing disposable pads and save the environment. So we want to reach everyone everywhere. Second part is manufacturers' responsibility of recycling used cups. So if these cups in India, we request the user to send the cup to us back, at the end of its cycle, because what we can do is we can use this, we send it to an industry which manufactures these electrical insulation pads. So these used silicon products can be made into powder and used as a filler for those kind of products. So the best part is it's completely recyclable. Second is, even if you don't want to send it back to us, it weighs just 13 to 15 grams. And if you burn it, it comes into sand. It turns back into sand. So that's one more advantage of why silicon cups are so friendly to the environment. So yes, recycling is what it's all about. The third part is we can supply our cups to any interested business entrepreneur who can rebrand it and sell the cups locally in Malaysia or any other country. And the branding should be suitable so that whatever care we have taken in terms of doing all the required tests can be passed on to the new brand. So it can be X by Nariyari. You can have your brand name and followed by Nariyari. So that ensures that whatever tests we have done, that can be used by you for proving the safety of it in the country where you are. So that's why we talk about partnership. What else? Well, I've come to the end of my my PPT, but there's a small video I would like to play to you. This is about the Nariyari cup. So just give me a second. Oops, 1 second. Yeah.
Let's talk about periods or menstruation cycles. We all know women and girls are on periods every month for 3 to 5 days. During periods, most women
we are not
use
able to
sanitary
see the
pads.
video.
Oh, you're not able to see the video?
No, we can
Sanitary
hear, but
pads
we can't
impact
see.
health.
Oh, okay. One
Chemicals
second.
causes infection and rashes. It cannot be
Okay,
real.
1 second. Let me just screen share it. I'll just stop screen sharing. 1 second.
Seconds up.
I can. Okay. It's only saying share sound and share sound. I'm not getting the option for. Is there something where you need to allow for sharing video? Because
No,
I'm not seeing
allow.
it.
No, you can.
1 second. Let me just try. Sorry for this.
Take your time. Right, while waiting, you guys, if you have
Can you
any
see?
questions, if you have any questions, please do.
You see the screen now?
I
No.
can
Let's
see the
talk
screen, but there's
about
no video.
periods or
No
menstruation
video.
cycles.
Maybe you can go
Okay.
back to the
Women
video from where you have
girls
embedded it, sure.
every
From
month.
there you
Sure,
can
sure,
play it. The
Sure.
embedded video is not playing.
Okay, fine. Okay.
So where you have actually got the original video,
Sure.
you
I'll
play
do
there and then share that maybe.
Sure. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Just give me a second.
While waiting for that, if you guys have any questions, please do type it out in the chat section, and our moderator will come and ask the question on behalf of you at the end of the session during the Q&A session. So you can type it out and she will visit it later.
The problem is the moderator is asking the questions.
Oh, that's right.
No, what I'll do is let's not waste time on this. Probably I will share the video separately and we can send it to everyone, because let's not waste time on this. I don't want to disturb anyone's presentation. I'll try to find it, and then maybe at the end of the session, I'll just play it after the other speakers have spoken. Yeah.
All
So
right.
any questions, anyone? I can take, or do you want to take it at the end of the session, Dina and
At the
Shirley?
end of the session, because Shirley
Cool.
will.
Okay. Sure. Okay. So thank you for your patience. And yes, I just had one slide to share with you at the end. Yes. So at the end of the session, as I said, please feel free to join us for what we call as Cup Shop in Hindi. It's a cup chat in English, or Cup Bercha Cup in Malay. So please feel free to join us, and thanks for the opportunity for presenting my small story on menstrual cups to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rotary and Handsome Shiv. My account number is 1127 3357891. Okay. All right. So next in line, we have Liu Pixvon. Hope you got your name right. Who'll be talking to us about Launchpad, a community service by Taylor's Hostel students on reusable sanitary pads. Now let's get to know Pixvon a little better, shall we? For over a decade, she has been involved in many community development projects and has trained civil society organizations in Malaysia and along the Thai-Burma border. In the last 6 years, she has been actively working with the migrant and refugee community through UNHCR and currently superheads the Student Event and Development Department under Taylor's Education Group. Darling.
Hi, thank you, Dina, and hi, everyone. Hi, Rotarians. Thanks, Shiv, and hi, Anja. All right, so I'm Pixvon. That's how you pronounce it.
Sorry.
And I am the manager of student events and development under Taylor's Education Group. And 2 years ago, I started a project with my students called the Launchpad Project. So I'm going to play a video, and hopefully I don't encounter the same problems as you did, Shiv. Let's see, because I think the video contains all the important points. And after the video ends, I will be focusing more on the process of the project. Yeah. So let me share screen. Okay. Could you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see. Let's hope this video works.
Of refugees over the past few years continue to face challenges. Rumah tada, makan tada, dia tara tengok, saya tara kerja, anak kisi-kisi. There is not enough food, not enough money, not enough water. They get not enough money to survive their life. How they spend much money on sanitary pad? Ever since young, I've always wanted to help people, especially refugees or women or marginalized communities. I want to be a part of this project because I want them to know that it is okay. It is normal to have periods. I've seen the refugees, I've talked to them, and I thought, if I can make an impact, if I have the resources, have the time, have the energy to do something like that, and the team to do it, why not?
My name is Chen Feng. I'm a participant of last year's Launchpad project and also a trainer for this year. Last year, our Launchpad project started with a simple briefing of background of the refugees that we are reaching out to, which we have to pay a slight visit.
So we're now actually heading to our first house.
We asked questions about herself, like her family, her economic status, and like what she felt about the status of the refugee, how it had changed from before and after. And then we talked to her about feminine health, like menstrual cycles, like sexual health, like she know about her body, and also family planning.
We are involved in the whole process of designing a project.
We try to figure out how are we going to help these refugees through planning methods, evaluation, and all those.
We thought about ideas, scrapped them. We thought about things that would work out, and it actually worked out, and we were proud of it. Today we learned how to make reusable pads, and I think it's a very interesting experience because I've never made something like that. We learned about the type of materials that were appropriate and how easily accessible they are, and why is it so important. I think sex education is so important because there's so many things that we probably don't know about. Having PMS shouldn't be taboo because it's something all girls will experience with the sex ed workshop that we're providing to them. The whole family planning things we're going to teach them, it can help with them financially.
So eventually, on all our hard work, we managed to make the whole project a success. For last year, we used strings to stabilize our pads. This year, we are making it into wings because based on last year's feedback from refugees, we found out that her thighs were a bit uncomfortable and a bit heavy.
Personally, I believe that like it is our duty as a fellow human being to help others, not just the refugees, and those who are poor or who are homeless. I really hope we can do that as everyone around the world.
All right. Okay. So I think that video was 5 minutes long. So I think it's enough to tell you about the project, the journey that the students took throughout this project. So for my presentation, I'm going to focus more on the backdrop, the context, the environment of this project, as well as the process, the thought process behind the development of this project. So let's start with the refugee population in Malaysia. I'm going to remove this. Okay. So as of January 2021, there are 178,000 refugees and asylum seekers registered with UNHCR in Malaysia. That's the size of the refugee population. And out of this 178,000 who are living in Malaysia, 86% come from Myanmar and 12% come from Syria, Yemen, Iraq, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Somalia, Sri Lanka, and many others. And out of this 86% from Myanmar, more than 60% are Rohingya. And here's the gender breakdown. 68% of refugees and asylum seekers are male, and 32% are female. So what is it like living in Malaysia for a refugee? So first you have to understand that Malaysia is not a signatory of the 1951 Refugee Convention. And what that means is that there's no laws to protect refugees in Malaysia. And when there are no laws to protect refugees in Malaysia, it means that refugees are often mistaken as illegal economic migrants. They have no access to public schooling. They often live in fear of arrest, detention, and deportation. They have difficulties accessing healthcare, no legal work. And when they do find work illegally, they have to work in 3D jobs. And because of that, they often risk exploitation. So against this backdrop, I will walk you through how we developed the Launchpad project. So we started off by first collecting data, which I think was the most important first step for the project. So in our data collection phase, we conducted many interviews and focus group discussions with refugee women and girls to learn about their socioeconomic background and what are their current knowledge and practices when it comes to their sexual reproductive health and also menstrual hygiene. So we asked questions like, what do you currently use when you have your period? Do you know why you have your period? And so on. And these are some of the information that we collected. So this is some information I'm sharing right now with the Rohingya community because we focus a lot of our research with the Rohingya. So there are more than 13,000 female Rohingya refugees living in Malaysia in the age of 12 to 45. 92% of them are unemployed and more than 90% are illiterate. The monthly household salary of a Rohingya family is 1,000 ringgit. And these are just some quotes from the refugees that we interviewed. Many of them, some of them use disposable pads, but a lot of them also use cloth because the pads are expensive. It's also very common to hear that they don't buy their own pads because culturally, women are not permitted to leave their homes. So they would have to rely on their husbands or their male relatives to purchase pads for them. And they shared all kinds of funny stories about how their husbands or brothers, bought the wrong pads for them, sometimes bought them diapers. And they are also financially very dependent on their spouse. So if the spouse doesn't buy them pads or doesn't give them money to buy pads, then they won't have any pads. And you can imagine how difficult it is for young girls who are going to school. If they don't have a pad, they won't go to school. So this is very common in the community. So once we gathered that data, we had to define solutions. So in this stage, we asked refugees what were some of their reservations, preferences, and recommendations for menstrual hygiene products and sex education, if that was provided. And we would commonly hear that when it comes to sex ed, they wouldn't want to join your workshop because, they don't talk about that stuff. It's taboo. And when we ask them, then where do you learn about this stuff? And they'll say, oh, I learned it from my sister or my mother. But you can imagine like just generation and generation of non-education, you have a lot of misinformation that's being passed down. And as for menstrual products, we asked them, we of course provided them a list of menstrual products. You have your regular batik cloth, You have your disposable sanitary pads. We also showed them tampons and menstrual cups. And I can tell you that they didn't recognize tampons, they didn't recognize menstrual cups. And of course, they recognized disposable pads. And when we explained to them, for example, how a menstrual cup works or how a tampon works, they found it very hard to accept, or even very hard to accept the idea of just something being inserted into their vagina. So we imagine if we were to introduce menstrual cups, it would be an uphill battle because we would have to then raise awareness first and then address a lot of these cultural barriers as well. And also because it would require familiarization of the usage as well, how to use a menstrual cup. So same thing with tampon, they were not comfortable. So we focused on, okay, so you know cloth, that's what you use, and you also know disposable pads. So we narrowed that down and then asked them things like, you know, do you wear the ones with wings or no wings? If price wasn't a concern, which one do you prefer? How often do you change your pads? What size do you wear? And so on, yeah? So based on the data that we collected, this was the prototype we came up with. So we came up with initially just these two prototypes. The first is the one on the left. This one is made of store-bought fabric. You can buy them from Kamda or Jekyll or Nagoya. And these are made from flannel, microfiber, and fleece. And the other one on the middle, this really cool looking pad, is made out of 100% t-shirt. It's made out of one single piece of t-shirt. So these are the two designs that we came up with, but this second design in blue came up, it was developed last year after we received feedback from the women that they didn't really like the one with the strings, yeah? So why did we come up with two different prototypes? The thing about the pad on the left, it looks more professional, yeah? And we actually made them and we distributed it to 30 refugees to test. They love it. They think it was very comfortable. It was easy to wash. They really liked it. They really liked it. Hardly anyone had any complaints about it. And then for the t-shirt pads, the pads made out of t-shirts, they said it was okay, a bit bulky. But what they didn't really like was the strings because, you know, it's hanging and then even after cutting it, it's just, it's not very stable. But the reason why we made it with t-shirts is because when it comes to material accessibility, if we want refugees to be able to make this on their own, we cannot be teaching them how to make a pad using store-bought fabric because we already know from our first step, we collected data where we know that women are not allowed to leave their homes. They are not economically empowered. They can't just go out and go to Spotlight and buy fabric. So they have to make do with whatever they can find at home. And that includes towels, t-shirts, batik cloth, right? So the idea is that grab anything you can find at home, you can turn it into a pad. So that's why we created these two different types. And as for the sex ed workshop, we also had a focus group discussion to understand what women thought about contraception, whether they have autonomy over their bodies, and as you would expect, they don't. So there was no point really introducing them to like condoms or contraceptive pills, because they don't have the money to purchase it and they can't leave their house anyway. And as for condoms, it's not up to them, right? It's up to their husbands to wear it. So we tweaked our content to ensure that the kind of options that they could choose from was something that they could access. So for example, we recommended getting a jab for contraception at a free clinic. And we taught them how to get to that free clinic. It's a free jab that can last you for 3 months. We also taught them how to track their menstrual cycle. Again, it's very difficult because for most of us, we could just look at a calendar or download an app on our phone. But a lot of them are illiterate. They cannot read or write. So we had to figure out ways where they can track their menstruation, their menstrual cycle, through colors, through symbols, and so on. So that took a while as well for us to develop. It was very challenging, yeah. So traditional teaching methods wouldn't apply. Once we had that figured out, then it was time to produce. So the students and refugees, we also hired skilled refugee tailors to come on board. We paid them an income. And the students began an assembly line to produce over 1,000 reusable pads. So these are some pictures of my students tracing, cutting, sewing. And once the pads and the workshop was produced, then it was time to distribute the pads and run those skill workshops. So we distributed the pads, we donated the pads to community-based organizations and schools. And my students taught refugees how to sew a pad and taught them knowledge on this basic reproductive health. These are some pictures from those workshops. And finally, after we distributed the pads and ran the workshops, we tracked all the participants and recipients of the pads 6 months after they received it. And we interviewed all of them to find out whether they have used the pads that was given to them, and also the pads that they made. What did they like about it? What would they change about it? And also the efficacy of the skills and knowledge that they learned from the sex ed workshop. Based on the evaluation results, so here is some evaluation results from 2019. So for the donated pads are the ones where we made 1,000 pieces and distributed them. These are just made out of store-bought fabric. They loved it. 100% of them said the pad was comfortable. 92% said they would continue using it. The con said, yeah, it's a little too big. Yeah. And then as for the t-shirt pads, this is the one with the strings. Yeah, this is a 2019 design. We can see that less women, although it's still 93%, they thought it was comfortable. 93% said they would continue using it. 43% who participated in the workshop said they have taught others how to sew a pad. So they have either taught their sister, their mother, their friends on how to sew a pad. And 95% said they were interested to teach others. So what they didn't like about the pad, they said, it's a little too big, it looks too amateurish, you don't like the string closure. So that's why in last year, we changed it up into the ones with wings, and you just have to put a button. As for the sex ed workshop, 86% said they found the workshop useful. 80% said they found the menstrual calendar useful. 76% said they have shared the knowledge that they have learned. And 67% said they are interested to teach others. So this is really, really great, because what we need to realize is this: there is no way any of us can continue doing this and reaching that kind of number, yeah, tens of thousands of refugees. They cannot depend on us to provide these pads. It's just not sustainable. They cannot depend on us to teach these workshops, right? So we were happy to know that they liked the product that we came up with, and they have taught others, and they are interested to teach other people. So in 2019, we worked closely with RWDN, the Rohingya Women Development Network. They are they are a community refugee-based organization working with Rohingya women, and they have a lot of livelihood programs. So after they partnered up with us for the Launchpad project, they received grants from the Canadian Local Fund Initiative and the US State Department to continue teaching women skills to make sanitary pads and to develop a social business. I think as of now, they have not yet developed a social business because they also realized that the pads that were developed, they are chosen because they are cheap they're easy to work with. But if you're going to make them to sell, then you have to redesign. You have to maybe choose your fabric, new fabric, like using PUL and things like that, waterproof material and so on. So these were some challenges of turning this project into a business immediately. They have to redevelop the product. What I love about this is they told me refugee women, Rohingya women, were organizing sessions in each other's homes. And that's just so lovely. So they were running these, they would go to each other's house. They have this gathering for women and they would teach. They have like a pad sewing session where they just sew pads and chit chat. So it's very therapeutic as well. So in 2019, we worked with 30 students, 546 refugees, and 1 CBO, which is RWDN. And last year, we have worked with 90 students, over 1,000 refugees, and we have partnered up with 3 different CBOs, community-based organizations. So what's in store for 2021? Now, in 2019 to 2020, we focused a lot on making sure we got it right, making sure that the pad is really something that is beneficial, the pad works, and once that's done, we will move on to the next stage, which is giving them the content, passing it on to them to then teach their own community. Yeah, so that's where in 2021, this year, we hope to focus more on community empowerment, giving them the tools, the content to run these workshops to sew their own pads so that they no longer have to rely on us. So what does that mean? What does community empower here mean? So number one, this year, we hope to assemble, actually we have already assembled our first workshop starter kit. A workshop starter kit is to incentivize CBOs to run these workshops at their centers. So there are many community-based organizations already in Malaysia. So the Rohingyas, they have their own center, the Somalis have their own center, the Afghans have their own center, and so on. So what's wasted is that they don't have enough activities. So we want to focus on empowering or equipping CBOs with a workshop starter kit so that they can just run these workshops without relying on us. But here's the problem. I can give you all the fabric. I can give you fabric scissors, needles, whatever you need to make a pad, or even to teach someone how to make a pad. But we have to realize being a trainer is a whole different set of skill. Just because you know how to sew a pad doesn't mean you know how to teach. So, and if we pass on the burden of teaching to the CBOs, who are mostly just volunteers, they don't even get paid, the staff don't even get paid, then we think that it will not even happen. The boxes are going to be just sitting there in their center and it won't be utilized. Which is why we thought it's not enough to donate or come up with a workshop starter kit. We also need to come up with teaching materials. So we have collaborated with the design school in Taylor's University, and they will be assisting us in coming up with a guided video pad making workshop. So I don't know how many of you know online learning like Coursera, where you have like a lecturer in the video and there's like a pause, go, it's interactive lah. It's an interactive video whereby, yeah, you can just always replay it, yeah. So we want to produce a video like that in 7 different languages so that the coordinators of the CBOs just need to put on their projector, play this video, and follow the video's instructions. So like, okay, chapter 1, okay, take out, distribute material A1, and so on. So so the CBO staff don't even really need to know how to sew a pad in order to run a pad making workshop at their center. So that's the goal, to come up with a guided video pad making workshop. And then we will also accompany that with a self-guided brochure or poster tutorial. So imagine like an IKEA, you buy something from IKEA, it comes with a little booklet, and you notice there's not much words, right? It's usually very pictorial, and it will guide you on how to make something or assemble something. So same thing, we are going to produce this self-guided brochure poster tutorial. and it'll be in 7 different languages. And although it will be in 7 different languages, the text is very minimal to accommodate refugees who are illiterate. So even for this poster, this is actually draft 1, an actual draft 1 of the poster that the design school students have developed. We went back to the refugees. So consultation process is super important to us. We went back to the community and conducted 2 focus group discussions to ask them whether they understood the icons, whether they understood how to read this tutorial from up to down, left to right, to ask them whether they understood what the instruction meant. So we gathered all this different feedback and also gathered information on like what they wish to see to make it easier. And the students are now in the midst of developing draft 2 for again another round of feedback. And once we have that feedback, we are going to actually pilot it. So to gather some refugees in a room, give them only this paper and some materials, and see whether they can actually sew a pad just by referring to this tutorial. So that is our process, and that's our plan for 2021. So currently, these are all our partners. We are partnering with UNHCR, the Taylor's Design School, Doctors Without Borders. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce this in French. Médecins Sans Frontières, I think. That's Doctors Without Borders. It's an international NGO. So they are the first recipients of our workshop starter kit. We're also partnering with the Somali Refugee Community Malaysia, Rohingya Society Malaysia RSM, RWDN, Rohingya Women Development Network. Spot is providing a sex ed workshops to our students, which we now still have problems. So our biggest gap right now is we still don't know how to translate the sex ed into a video tutorial, because whatever I showed you just now, these 2 video and poster is only on pad making. But we think it is very important to insert content on sex ed because what attracts them to join a workshop is the pad making workshop. But if we are able to insert content, sex ed content into these workshops, then it will be even better. Yeah. We also have partnered up with Ideas Academy, Dignity for Children, and we would love to partner up with you. So, so we basically, once these materials are produced, you can just take it and run with it. It doesn't even have to be refugees anymore. If you're working with the Orang Asli or the B40 community, what we hope to do is that this video itself should be able to teach your students or your beneficiaries without needing you to learn how to sew the pad. So once these materials are developed, I will surely be in touch with Rotary, and hopefully you can take it into and bring it into your community. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Big Swan. Is that how I pronounce it? Correct?
Yes, that's right.
Right. Okay, for the very informative session. It's very nice to see all these kids are really into it. They really understand it, and they are no longer ashamed of it, and just sharing about it and everything else. Now, before we move on to the third speaker, I would like to ask if Rotarian Handsome Shiv has his video ready.
Yeah, fingers crossed it works now.
Right.
And I've seen a lot of questions in the chat box. The video should answer a few of the questions. So, okay, fingers crossed. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, let's start.
Periods or menstruation cycles. We all know women and girls are on periods every month for 3 to 5 days. During periods, most women use sanitary pads, tampons, reusable cloth pads. Sanitary pads impact on health. Its chemicals causes infection and rashes. It cannot be reused or recycled. But the biggest question arises, what is the solution then? Nariyari menstrual cups. Nariyari menstrual cups are not just sustainable in nature, unlike sanitary napkins or tampons. A cup saves one from period hassles, rashes, skin infections, leakage, and allows physical activity. One Nariyari cup, if used for 8 years, will save about 2,000 single-use napkins. It saves user money as one cup lasts for 8 to 10 years. The Nari cup can be recycled after completing its life cycle if the customer sends the cup back to the factory. It is made in India and is ISO certified and has been marked safe from vaginal irritation and cytotoxicity. And yes, very important, instead of spending about Rs 12,000 to 45,000 on single-use napkins in 10 years, a Nari cup costs just Rs 650 for 10 years. How to use menstrual cup? Step 1. For the first time, please soak the cup in hot water for 5 to 7 minutes. Step 2. Hold and fold. Hold it and then fold. You can insert the cup while sitting, standing or squatting by spreading your legs. Step 3. Insert. Keep it rolled up and guide its rim first into the vagina. Step 4. Wear and learn. It can be used for up to 12 hours, also overnight. Step 5. Remove the cup and empty it, then wash and reinsert. Wash the cup well with plain water. No soap, no sterilization needed. Step 6. Avoid keeping the cup on unhygienic surfaces like bathroom floor, wash basin, flush tank, etc. Between your menstrual cycles, always store the cup in the cloth pouch provided. Let's make a change. Let's switch to a menstrual cup. Benefit from what 11,000 women in 4 years have already benefiting from. Enjoy and let the environment also enjoy. Together with Nari cup. Fall in love with zero. Have carefree, rash-free periods. Have you joined the cult solution yet? For more details, contact Nisha 93412-55690. Lata 97400 97153 www.nariari.com.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank God it worked. And yes, our tagline for our cups is fall in love with zero. And when we talk about zero, we are talking about zero waste, zero cash, zero rash, and zero. What's the last thing, Nisha? I forget our own tagline.
She's not gonna back you up. Rash-free, cash-free, trash-free.
Trash-free, yes, absolutely.
Trash-free. All right.
Thank you for coming to my rescue. Back to you, Dina.
All right. Thank you very much. That was a very informative video indeed. Now, last but not least, our speaker, Anja Julia Abu Bakar, with her topic, Social Enterprise Creating Impact Without Borders. Anja is the founder and Social Impact Director of Athena Holdings Sdn Bhd, social enterprise company established in 2015 that manufactures and distributes eco-friendly sanitary products and promotes eco-friendly lifestyle. Athena eliminates the experience of physical discomfort, a natural solution for personal care. Anja's expertise in the social enterprise business module and currently sits in the Chamber of Social Entrepreneur Development as president of the term 2020-2022. CSED Malaysia is an avenue for Malaysia's social entrepreneurs and relevant stakeholders that champion social entrepreneurship in Malaysia. As a social entrepreneur, Anja was listed as Malaysia's top 10 female social entrepreneurs in 2016, awarded Outstanding Asian Woman Entrepreneur in Hanoi, Vietnam, invited to SE Forum in Stockholm, Sweden in 2016, and as Social Enterprise Guest Mentor in 2017, a recipient of Star Malaysia Golden Heart Awards in 2017, and invited to the White House in Washington, D.C. in 2019 for her work in Women Economic Empowerment by Ms. Ivanka Trump, advisor to the President of the United States of America. Anja founded Sisterhood Alliance, a registered NGO that advocates social changes by empowering young girls with life skill education. Anja currently coaches companies who wish to switch their business model from controversial to social enterprise module, and since 2016 have moderated close to 100 startups in social enterprise ecosystem. Anja, Zoom room is all yours.
Thank you so much. Hi, good evening. Thank you everyone and thank you Rotary Club for having me tonight. And yeah, for tonight, my context is more on social enterprise, but I was introduced to this model while making the sanitary pad. We make washable and reusable sanitary pads, same like the Taylor's project just now. So let me share my slide. Yeah. Okay. Let me just move this up. All right. I always like to start with this quote. It is easy to make money. Yes, definitely for us entrepreneurs, especially, and business owners. Or maybe if you are doing want to do charity drive, everyone can make money. But one thing that really tough is that to make a difference. And about me, okay, as mentioned, I'm the current president Chamber of Social Entrepreneur Development, where we are the ecosystem and voice to all social entrepreneurs, to the policymakers, to the government. And I'm a founder and social impact director of Atina Empowers, a social enterprise that empower girls and young women through the selling of our reusable sanitary pads. This is our product, fully made, 100% made from fabric, but we use high performance fabric, and we have green manufacturing for the products that we make. And not only pads, we also where's the photo? Sorry. Is it hang?
While waiting for that, if you have any questions, please do type it in the chat box area, and we will be attending to it right after this and during the Q&A session, yeah?
All right. Okay. I don't know what happened, but these are among the products that we make. We have various of sizes, from panty liners, regular pad, heavy pad, maternity pad, and as well as nursing pad. We also produce a wet bag to keep the sanitary pad. And these are among diapers. We have baby diapers, adult diapers, as well as incontinence pad. And we are a all-female team, and our admin staff are all female as well. And it's all started way back in 2010 after I won Malaysia Innovation Award by Ministry of Science, Innovation, Science, Technology and Innovation. And I think we get featured into many medias, from newspapers, radios, television. That's when few months later, I received call from rural Sabah that asked if we can donate our sanitary products. That's when it took me quite a while to sponsor, because we are a business, but back then I just started doing business for full time since July 2012, and I was alone, so I'm not sure how to do that, because I use my own money. I don't make any loans or get any grants, so quite hard. But they are quite persistent and ask if I can still sponsor. They only need for 33 girls, and then I said, well, there must be for good reason, and I decided to sponsor the pads. And it arrived a week before Christmas, and they shared the photos how these girls are really happy. That's when I started to hey, what actually happened to them? I really want to find out more, and decided to make a visit. And that's when I learned about this girl from really from the very poor families. They can't even afford to buy, because as compared to the peninsula, the price of our sanitary pads are way much cheaper compared to in East Malaysia, where it costs about almost double, and they can't afford. And one of the reasons given to me is that from spending 5 ringgit to buy the pad, they rather buy a loaf of bread that can last them for a week. And the most shocking is when I learned about some girls have to use coconut husk, where they stuff it in their socks as a substitute to the sanitary pads. Some of them use cloth, but this is way too much for me. I really never ever in my life that such thing happen here in Malaysia. And that's when a lot of problems, when I learned about most of the girls, they miss 5 to 7 days of school in a month when they have their menses. And this it leads to, because they have no access to sanitary pad and they miss 60 days of school in a year. And because of that, they have a low learning, low achievement, low academic performance, and also increase the high dropout rates for girls in school due to menstrual poverty. And that's when I back to Kuala Lumpur, January 2013, I start a campaign called Girl Empowerment. And for every purchase of our pad, that a girl in need will be sponsored and give them the right freedoms to get education she deserves. And today, not only that, we have sponsored to many girls in Malaysia, we have also went to Cambodia and worked with NGOs in Cambodia to sponsor the pads. And this is what we've solved, a monthly challenge with a sustainable solution. If we've aimed to reduce menstrual poverty among the marginalized girls. And thanks to Prof. Muhammad Yunus, the guru of social business, who actually give me the idea. I learned social business from him, not learn, I mean, he mentioned it that I should consider to learn about social business. After this professor from UKM explained my journey to Sabah, and that's when I started to Google and learn by myself before I embark full switch my business model to social enterprise in 2015. And maybe I just share a bit what is social business or social enterprise. For me, a very simple, straightforward, a business that benefits communities and environment, where we all know that a business, an entity that sells products or services, and they self-sustain through sales. And we also know that there's another organization called NGO. They are non-profit. They are more impact-driven, but however, they have to depend on donations because they don't have any. They can't sustain much because they don't have product or services to sell. That's when the model social enterprise is born, where it's a hybrid with a business entity and mixed with an impact-driven organization. And this is how we sustain, because we do have a product or services to sell and make money from there. And in Malaysia, thanks to our government being among the youngest country in Southeast Asia, we get full support from the government, where they now acknowledge social enterprise by introducing the accreditation to all social enterprises in Malaysia, where all you need is to fulfill the 3 minimum criteria set by government. That is, the organization must have a strong social mission. They must have an entity, a business entity that is sustainable, and they have a clear target beneficiary. If you meet all these 3 minimum criteria, then you will be registered as an SE. But then you have another 1 to 3 years time to get your company or your enterprise accredited by fulfilling one of the 4 criteria set by the government. Right? Either you wish to give 51% of your 51% of your workforce or your employee are from the beneficiary group. But not only you hire them, but you must have provide clear career path to your employee. And second one is 35% of your business cost is channeled towards providing income, training, or subsidized goods or services to target beneficiary. This is where Athena choose this criteria, where every 1 ringgit operation cost producing our sanitary pad, 35 cents will be allocated to fund our social program. And then also 51% of your net profit is distributed towards solving the social mission. Oh, I missed the third one. 35% of the production raw materials or resources is spent on achieving the environment mission. This is those who more on environment. So it's all about road to positive impact beyond the normal norms. and where you are turning problems into business opportunities. All you need to do is ask many questions, what value and what can it makes you stands out, and be more like visualize where you are in the next 5, 10, 20, or 30 years from today. Ask this question: is your goal truly future fit? And this is reason being because according to Nelson, by the from the research, that today we have a lot of global socially conscious consumer, where 63% are they are under age of 40, and 66% are green, that believe companies should support the environment. And these are the communities or group of people, young people, that willing to pay more for socially responsible product or services. And it's not all about what you think is important or what interests the customers, but it's all about what's relevant to them. And this young generation, they don't want to be sold, but they want to feel part of something. It's no longer about having brand items, but what makes, how things that makes them feel about something. So today, the one that I share is actually as for December 2019, but today we have distributed more than 3,000 to 3,000 girls. And in fact, this year alone, we are distributing to 1,000 girls from marginalized communities. In fact, up to December 2012, when we constantly doing, we actually go down to visit our beneficiaries to find out whether if they are still using, and based on our research, that for those girls that still using our pad, we have helped reduce 467,000 of disposable pads reduced from our landfill. And we have also made them save almost 500,000 from buying the disposable pad. In average, Malaysian women spend almost 200 ringgit a year, because we have many brands to buy. And not only products, we now sell our programs. We have Atina Empowers, we have Atina Reach, and Atina Engage. And because of that, our work with marginalized communities and Orang Asli has, we've been approached by the Ministry of Youth to train many Orang Asli youth to become our trainer, because I realized teaching the Orang Asli girls is quite hard, because they don't speak our language. They understand, but I need to speak very slowly. And after we train 3 communities, and I was so amazed how they can do it very well to teach the girls on menstrual hygiene management. And working with these girls, we went down to many villages. We were approached by the elderly, like their mothers. Why can't we teach the elders? I said, what do you want to learn? Teach us to be like you, to become an entrepreneur. So I said, no, we are not a trainer. We can't teach business. Teach us very basic business. So we decided to design a simple content, and we started to do many programs with the teaching women to become businesswomen, to do business then. But that's when we work with AirAsia to train rural women on rural women economic empowerment program in Sabah. And that's when we started to work with many communities. This is we realized that we have scaled up our impact. Not only first we teach, even today we still train girls on menstrual hygiene management, but we are also teaching women to become more economically empowerment. And that's until I got invited to share how can we scale up our impact to 43 women social entrepreneurs in Amsterdam by FedEx. And that's when I got approached by Turkish Airlines to train 10 NGOs in Zanzibar, Tanzania, on how they can become financially sustainable using the social enterprise module, business. And that's also why leads me to be invited to the White House among 18 women leaders from 18 countries on women global development and prosperity initiatives. And I think this is the last word that I think sometimes the entity, the social enterprise look for it. It's no longer about why or how can it be appropriately to help others, but you need to be to have your purpose. So that's all from me. Thank you.
All right, sorry. Thank you, Anja, for your sharing. That was also very informative and it's very an eye-opener, I would say. Right. So now we have reached the part where all your questions will be answered. So I would like to pass the floor to the incoming Assistant Governor, Shirley, to moderate the Q&A session. Incoming Assistant Governor, ready when you are.
Yes, yes, I am ready. All right, Chief, get ready. You're the first.
Ouch.
Ooh. All right, Chief. Based on the video that you showed us earlier, the shelf life of a menstrual cup was mentioned as 8 to 10 years.
Yes.
But then how would I know, or how can we identify when the cups have reached their end of life? I mean, is there any kind of indicator on the cup or something?
Sure. No, and there's no indicator on the cup as such. One thing is, as long as it doesn't physically get damaged, as in develop a tear or a hole, up to that time, there's no issue. The user will come to know when over a period of time, it may slip out, it may not retain its shape. So that doesn't happen with platinum cured product, but it's basically the user will come to know when they feel they need to change. So there's no indication as such. The shape is not going to change. The properties are not going to change. It's just that, you know, as a woman's body also undergoes changes over a period of 8 years, she will come to know when it is not suiting her anymore and when it's time for her to get a new cup. So it's person to person.
Okay. There was another question that asked, were other synthetic rubbers like chloroprene, nitrile, or whiten tried out?
Well, the question is that whether it is nitrile or neoprene or any synthetic rubber, it requires carbon and sulfur for its curing. You cannot do curing of synthetic rubbers with food grade or medical grade peroxides. You need sulfur or carbon based curing systems, and that's not ideal for skin or for internal use. So I don't think there was much of experiment with the synthetic rubbers. From latex, it went into silicone and also thermoplastic elastomers, which are known as TPEs. So they are basically plastics that behave like elastomers, but then we have to remember they are still plastics. So they will be more rigid. They will be a little more uncomfortable to use compared to silicone.
Okay, a lot of technical jargons you use, but at least you use some simple words at the end, so we sort of got that. Okay, one pressing question, I think that's always in every women's mind or any community that has been approached is, will the cup tear the membrane of the young ladies before intercourse?
Okay, Nisha has answered it, but I would like to add here that as she has pointed out, the hymen can tear from any physical activity that a young girl does. It could be yoga, it could be cycling, it could be just sitting around without doing anything. So there is not really any research or any data that says that a menstrual cup is going to tear a hymen. And I remember something that Dr. Meenakshi says. She says, why make such a big issue over such a small tissue? So, that's how I think we should actually look at it, that it's not even worth thinking about. But yes, what we suggest is, honestly, as a manufacturer, even as a Rotary Club which is pushing this project, we do not recommend menstrual cups for girls below the age of 18. It's only when they become an adult with the permission of their parents that they can use a cup. Or in fact, what we even suggest is use a cloth pad till you get married. The minute you get married, please switch over to a menstrual cup. So that's what we would suggest. If there is a taboo, we don't want to create controversies. The idea is to come up with sustainable products. So in schools, we only recommend cloth pads. Once they turn adult, their parents will help them decide.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shiv, for answering most of the questions.
Thank you.
We'll come back to you later. Let's
Sure.
move on to Pig Swan. I like how you have actually went through very intensively on the background of how Launchpad came into being and the thought process put into it to where you all are today with the starter kit. And you did say that you know that's the next thing you're going to do is you're going to look at us Rotary clubs, you know, to see how we can play a part, which was actually my question in mind to you already. It's like, how can we actually work? How can the Rotary clubs, because we have quite a number of Rotary clubs on board here today in this meeting. So how can the Rotary clubs work together with Launchpad in trying to expand the reach, be it to the refugees or the B40 communities? How can we kickstart this project? I mean, what's the first thing we need to do? Can you advise us, you know, on some kind of step-by-step guide so that all the Rotary clubs that are here right now can then, you know, think about going back to their club, discuss this, and then connect with you to kickstart this project?
Okay, very good question, because I get asked a lot questions like, why do you just focus on refugees? Why don't you help the indigenous people? There's so many groups that need help. Why are you focusing on refugees? That's like number one question that I get. And that's why I decided to focus on process, because consultation and thought process is the most central element of this project. And I would advise if any of you are bringing it to a different community, or even if it's refugees in a different country, because you cannot copy and paste any formula. So I would say do the groundwork, really put in the groundwork. So if you plan to say, take this Launchpad project and play the video or get a starter kit and say you want to do it with teenagers in a PPR flat, right? In a low-cost flat somewhere. Don't just go in there and run a workshop and play the video. Do some groundwork. Find out what are these kids, do these kids even need your product? That's number one. What are they currently using? Do they need it? And address those concerns first. So once you have done that groundwork, which I cannot help you do, but that's very important. But once you have done that groundwork, we have all the tools for you. It's like I have all the teacher tools for you to get started.
Okay, yes, that's great. So all the Rotary clubs that are here in this meeting, because I think that's the purpose of the second series of this talk, is we bring in who are doing all these projects here, be it in Malaysia or in India, and the Rotary clubs are to look and see who we can actually look to kickstart if they have this interest in this area. So yes, a very valid point, Pig Swan. The groundwork is very important.
With you? We also distributed these pads to teenagers in Ideas Academy. Yeah. And what was surprising about that finding is that a lot of the teenagers who are refugees, but they're teenagers in Ideas Academy, didn't like our pads. And it was interesting, like why did they not like our pads, right? In fact, the elderly women, Rohingya women, they all love the pads. Somali women like our pads. And it had to do with income levels, because refugee children who can afford to study in Ideas Academy, which is not free, you have to pay some fees, yeah? They don't have a problem with sanitary pads. They don't have a problem. They don't see why they should switch to a reusable pad when they have no problems with disposable pads. So it also goes back to what is your selling point. I cannot sell the fact that use a reusable pad because it saves the environment. I cannot use that with refugees. They don't care. I'm sorry, they don't care. What they care about is that I don't have enough money to buy disposable pads. So that is what you need to emphasize on. So you have to check what is the buy-in of that community. Because if you don't know what their interest lies, where that interest lies, then that project isn't gonna take off in that community. So again, that's why do the groundwork.
One of the areas that we were looking at was to create awareness on reusable sanitary products to the girls in our schools, in school-going girls, you know, at our secondary schools, because Rotary Club, we have presence in most of our schools through the interact clubs that we have there, and even for that matter in our private and public universities through the Rotaract clubs that are there. So we were planning to use that platform to go and create awareness on this. But however, now that I am hearing from you, and you have shared with us one of the challenges that if, depending on again, which level they belong to, that one of the challenges would be probably there is no buy-in from these teenagers to use this. Is there any solution that you have in mind? Have you seen something that may have worked to change their mindsets? Would proper awareness or something help us to consider, that might be something that we can look at? Because at the end of the day, we also want to cultivate the use of reusable sanitary products to the girls in our schools too. We can't hear you, big one.
I'm also interested to know the answer to that question. So, but if I were to do it, if I were to say, go to one of your schools to do it, this is what I think I would do. I would gather, say, 12 random girls and do a focus group discussion. And I will, first of all, ask the basic questions of what do you currently use, to manage your menstruation. You'd be surprised, maybe some of them are already using menstrual cups, but let's just say they're not. Let's say they're using disposable pads. Then the next question is, do you have any issues with your disposable pads? So before I switch to reusable pads, my issue with disposable pads is that it always leaks. And I don't like the plasticky feeling where it just, pokes your butt. So it's just very uncomfortable. So get what I don't like about disposable pads and sell the fact that, okay, these reusable pads are a lot more comfortable. They are more absorbent. They don't leak. Ever since I changed this reusable pad, they hardly have any leaks anymore. So use what they don't like about so find out first what they don't like about it, and then convince them if you switch, then yes, it's a lot more comfortable, it's softer, it's easy on your skin, and so on. And then, or maybe also find out, are they interested in the environment? And if they are, then also use that angle. The fact that, how many sanitary pads you can, avoid sending to the landfill every year, and so on. So, but you cannot choose which argument to use until you figure out where is their pain points. So what is their pain points? Is it the comfort? Is it the price? Is it the fact that they are environmentally conscious? Find out first, and then come up with your arguments to switch.
Right, thank you so much, Pixon. These are all very good pointers for us to consider when we take this project to the schools. Now the question to Anja. I like how you shared with us on on your social enterprise, but how it came from actually these reusable sanitary pads. Being a person who has gone on the ground, and have faced these communities, what are the challenges that you have faced? Because now that Rotary Clubs wants to consider going down to the ground and doing this kind of project, I know it'd be good maybe if you could share with us some of the challenges that you went through, and probably some things that we may consider to at least avoid having to go through it when it's our turn, you see.
All right, thank you. A very good question, because we do face a lot of challenges when we want to work with the grassroots. But being an active networker since 2009, I have actually joined so many NGOs, and I think I have developed that skills when being connected with many women entrepreneurs and other entrepreneurs. So I applied the same when I want to work with the communities, because first thing is just to get, you can go, actually, you can either be recommended or you go yourself to that area to get to know the locals, and don't do anything yet, because it took me like 3 to 4 years to start working with these communities. And I'm not sure whether it's a secret or not, but you have to like get to know them, just to do some findings. What do you think? Like have more interactions, findings. What is their need? Because today, like when I mentor many social entrepreneurs, their challenge is like they thought they have propose something a very good solution, but end up it failed, because what I told them that you are offering something that you think they want, but it's not that what they need. If you think electricity will bring them good, no, you are wrong, because they live happily without electricity. So you need to really understand the need. So when I work with this community, once I get to know them, I make them to like me first, because the moment they like you, that's when they start to develop trust, they start to trust you, and that's when they so-called fall in love with you and will do anything to work with you. So always take time. You spend time to reduce time to get to know them that well, so that you understand the needs that you will offering the what they need, not like simply think that this is what they want. So get them to like you, then it will turn into to trust you, then they start to believe and to work with you. So it's like seeding. You when you do go to the grassroots, you start your seeding first, then it takes 2-3 years to harvest. So but it's gonna be a very lasting relationship, and that's the reason why we've been like referred to one community to another community, from one to where we are now today.
Thank you, Anja. I think having heard from all our three speakers, it's quite, it is quite obvious the few key learnings that we have gotten from today's sessions will be like, yes, do your groundwork. That is very important. Understand what their needs are. It's not what we think they want, but it's more what they need. And then, like what Anja puts it perfectly, you've got to know them. You've got to get them to, they need to know you. They need to like you. They need to trust you before they can even believe anything that we are trying to introduce to them. And I think that's very applicable, not only to doing this project, but I think in everything in life also, it's all about this know, like, trust. And so with that, thank you very much. And to all the representative of the Rotary clubs in our meeting today, we have given you three wonderful speakers today. We have Shiv Anand Bellare and with Menstrual Cups. And so if you're very keen to know more about it, please do contact him. He will share his contact with you. We have Peak Swan for Launchpad, a very good platform, and she has done a lot of groundwork and thought process. So maybe for the Rotary clubs, you just need to do the first part, but I think the second part on the teaching and the starter kit is pretty much done up for you. So she's made life quite easy for the Rotary clubs if this is a project that you want to embark with. And then of course we have Anja, and she's right there, she's the expert in this area. She can advise you accordingly based on her experience, and even how we can actually empower the women in the communities that we are reaching out to. So with that, I pass over to our MC for the next part of the agenda.
All right, thank you, IAG Shirley. Now I would like to invite President-elect Nisha from the Rotary Club of Platinum City, Bangalore, to thank our speakers.
Thank you, Dina. Thank you, Shirley. I must compliment the efforts that you all are putting in to, make the topic of menstruation so easy and have a tri-series on this particular topic. Thank you so much. The three speakers were wonderful. I really liked what Pix1 talked about, the groundwork. Do the need analysis before you decide what they want. That's what we've been doing here in 3190, and that's the only way to reach out and make an impact, knowing what they want and give them what they want. So thank you so much for your insights, and congratulations on the work that you've done. Also on Ms. Anja Julia Abubakar, commendable work. I'm going to take this mantra forward, saying this, work with the people at the grassroots level, learn, work with them, let them like you, let them trust you, and then they will be happy to work with you. Thank you so much for those insights. And thank you, Ruthier Shivanand Bellare, for your insights on the basics of the menstrual cups, on the material that is used, the certification that is required. Thank you so much once again to the host clubs for organizing a tri-series. Over to you, Dina.
Thank you very much, PE Nisha. Right, so before we do anything else, can we have a group photograph, please? PE Vinodhan, are you there?
I'll do it. I'll do that.
Okay, all right.
But can you all have your videos on so that
Yeah.
we can then at least take a group photo?
Please turn on your video so we can smile and say cheese and take pictures, because that's what we do best.
All right, so I'm going to take a picture now. So everyone say cheese, smile, whatever. One more page. Everyone smile again. All right, picture taken.
Right, thank you very much. Now, please book the 20th of May for the last episode of the MMH3 Awareness Talk series. We have fantastic speakers lined up for you that will touch on the overall holistic well-being of a woman physically, emotionally, and spiritually. We have Dr. Shubha, who will share on the right dietary requirements for a woman, Rotarian Suparna, who will share how happy minds bring happy periods in yoga. Master Dr. Adrian will show us some yoga exercises to ease period pains and cramps. Do take note, on the next talk series will be on Thursday, same time, 8 p.m. You invite your family, your friends, and your Rotary Club members to gain from all these sharings. Yeah, so please block your date, 20th May 2021. Now, this brings us to the end of the meeting. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourself. Thank you so much for being with us. Have a wonderful evening, and fellowship continues.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
Thank
the
you so
opportunity.
much.
Hello,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Shobhas.
Hello, Nisha. Wonderful.
So nice
Thank
of you
you
to
so
join us
much.
today.
Oh, my
Good
pleasure.
night, guys.
Always be there.
Bye.
Today I've just taken my.
Bye. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
So one point I would like to say before you guys log off is that menstrual cups have been included in the UNFPA for the very first time ever this year. So the UN is looking at procuring menstrual cups and distributing it, I don't know, at free of cost, or as at a nominal price all over the world. So fingers crossed that, you know, after the successful switch over to cloth pads, now menstrual cups also will be another option for women to save the environment. So let's see, fingers crossed.
Congratulations. And
Thank you. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.